The F-16 Fighting Falcon, a United States instrument of power in the air, but a source of many dangers while on the ground. Today you will be informed of the hazardous areas and safety precautions you must take while on the flight line. Tech Orders 1F-16C-2-10JG-00-1 and 1F-16C-2-00GV-00-1 cover the procedures for the F-16 aircraft. No matter what your specialty may be, you need to be aware of the hazardous areas on the F-16 and around the flight line. These areas include flight line driving safety, engine inlet and exhaust, areas of high noise, aerospace ground equipment, areas of radiation, areas around exhaust ports, areas around movable flight control surfaces, areas near planes of rotation, firing paths of loaded munitions, and areas near hot breaks. Refer to your tech order for the safety dimensions of these areas. When driving on the flight line, always approach an aircraft with the driver's side of the vehicle. This is to ensure easy egress. Also, never drive or park your vehicle under the wing of an aircraft, and your speed will not exceed 5 miles per hour. Hazards presented by the engine inlet are those of ingestion, high-frequency fan noise, and vibration, while the exhaust area mainly represents hazards of blast, temperature, and noise. The hazard area enlarges when the throttle is advanced. Be aware of the aircraft as it turns. You can be safe 1 minute and be in direct line with the exhaust the next. In addition to the areas around the engine, potentially damaging noise levels are also generated in the area of the JFS, or jet fuel starter. Like other aircraft you may have worked around, the F-16 and its support equipment produce enough noise to severely damage your hearing in a relatively short period of time. This is true on the flight line as well as in a hangar. As a minimum, whenever you are on the flight line, either earplugs or ear defenders will be worn. The entire ramp area is considered a noise hazard area, so protect yourself at all times. Another area you must be concerned with is non-powered and powered aerospace ground equipment, or AGE. Each piece of AGE is unique, but all have hazards if not operated properly. The areas you must be concerned with are turbine planes of rotation, extreme heat exhaust, high-pressure air, hydraulic systems, and extreme noise levels. Never operate a piece of aerospace ground equipment unless you are properly trained. Areas of RF radiation around the F-16 are also considered hazardous. These are generated by the UHF, IFF, TACAN, VHF systems, and radar. If ECM pods are loaded on the aircraft, these will also generate a radiation hazard. Refer to your tech data for safety dimensions of the hazard areas. The greatest radiation hazard is produced by the fire control radar, with its hazard cone extending approximately 120 degrees. In addition to the personnel hazard, the radiation could cause electro-explosive devices to explode and ignite volatile liquids within the zone of radiation. Hazards due to extremely high temperatures exist at exhaust ports of certain F-16 systems. The convergent exhaust nozzle control, the jet fuel starter, and the emergency power unit all develop exhaust in excess of 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Plus, the environmental control system exhaust is over 300 degrees Fahrenheit. In addition to the high temperatures, another hazard exists around the EPU exhaust. Warning: special care must be taken when working around the EPU exhaust. It may contain toxic hydrazine. Stand upwind before and after the EPU has been fired to avoid inhaling fumes. Visually check the hydrazine detector through the sight glass for any sign of hydrazine leakage. If hydrazine leakage is present, immediately clear the area of unnecessary personnel and initiate cleanup procedures specified in your tech order. Warning: if the brick orange color detector changes to deep purple or black, there is hydrazine or its vapors in the area. Hydrazine is a substance not to take lightly. It is a clear, oily liquid having an ammonia-like odor. It may enter your body by breathing vapor, swallowing, or skin contact. Symptoms of short-term overexposure include dizziness, nausea, or irritation of the eyes, nose, throat, or lungs. Liquid contact may cause skin to burn. Symptoms of long-term overexposure to toxic hydrazine may cause kidney and liver damage, plus a yellow discoloration of the skin and eyes. Another part of the F-16 which create hazards are the movable surfaces. The flight control surfaces and hydraulic actuated doors on the F-16 are fast-acting and powerful. First, the leading edge flaps, flaperons, and stabilizer are relatively sharp and low enough to cause injury if you walk into them. These surfaces and doors present moving hazards when electrical and hydraulic power are applied to the aircraft. These surfaces and doors are leading edge flaps, flaperons, stabilizer, speed brakes, rudder, air refueling door, and the canopy. Under the F-16, danger exists from the JFS intake and exhaust doors, the gun gas purge door, the landing gear, and the landing gear doors. Other protrusions which present hazards on the aircraft are the angle of attack probes and pitot tube, the air data probe, and static dischargers on the flaperons and the stabilizer. Hazards caused by the engine turbine planes of rotation need to be considered. While the engine is in operation, the turbine blades could separate from the turbine shaft and exit through the skin of the aircraft. The JFS plane of rotation extends out the left side of the aircraft. However, the main engine turbine plane extends out both sides of the F-16. Firing paths of loaded munitions constitutes another hazard to personnel. Maintenance personnel must be especially cautious when working around live missiles, a loaded gun, or loaded chaff or flare modules. An aircraft that has experienced hot brakes presents a potential hazard in two areas: fire and exploding tires. Tires may blow out without warning because of the heat generated by a hot brake condition. Danger areas extend in a cone shape on each side of the tire. Avoid these areas for the specified time period after the aircraft has stopped. If the tires must be approached, approach them from the rear in a line of roll only. Warning: do not enter areas under the arresting hook, external stores pylons, external fuel tanks, and chaff flare dispensers until all applicable safety pins have been installed. Failure to comply may result in serious injury or death to personnel. Ensure chocks are in position forward and aft of each main landing gear wheel. Remember, no matter what your specialty, be aware of the hazardous areas on the F-16 and around the flight line. The areas covered were flight line driving, engine inlet and exhaust, areas of high noise, areas of radiation, areas around exhaust ports, areas around movable surfaces, areas near planes of rotation, firing paths of loaded munitions, and areas near hot brakes. This by no means covers all the safety precautions of the danger and hazardous areas on the flight line. It does, however, provide the means to establish a foundation to start with.